Welcome to RotoWire's Fantasy Football Draft Season, sponsored by Circa Millions. Here's the draft plan that you'll set up to win your 2025 Fantasy Football League. Let's start out quarterback position. This is critical. I know we love Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, maybe even Jaden Daniels, and we know these quarterbacks are capable of massive weeks with big floors, and there is merit to considering them. However, when we look at the quarterback position, I'm going to point out there are a couple of anomalies in this year's draft we need to take advantage of. And here's the first one. Normally, when we wait late on quarterback, the problem is we have a lot of wild question marks and players that have never done anything or are washed up, and we take these huge risks, and usually more than not, we strike out. This year is different. In the quarterback 9 to 12 range, if we pass on, again, the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens, and others, we are going to look later. This quarterback 9 through 12 group is very interesting. And I'm going to start out with quarterback 10 in average drafts. That's Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is not injury prone, although he's had 3 serious injuries that each cost him at least half a season. Dislocated ankle, dislocated thumb, torn hamstring. These have not been repetitive injuries. These are all bad luck injuries that could happen to anybody. Dak Prescott, in the last 5 years, has played 3 full seasons. In those seasons, Dak Prescott has been the quarterback 2, the quarterback 3, and the quarterback 7. Unlike quarterbacks in this range of a fantasy football draft, you do not find players that have had established superstar quarterback seasons. And Dak Prescott is a different type of quarterback that you never find in this range. Quarterback 11, you have Justin Fields. And look, I get it. Justin Fields may not be a good NFL quarterback. Throws interceptions, fumbles the ball. But guess what? Mobile quarterbacks have always been the cheat code in fantasy football. Justin Fields with the Bears in 2022 in 15 games, 1,143 rushing yards. The next season with the Bears, 2023, he missed 4 games. On a prorated yards per game, that would have been an 880-yard season. Those types of seasons are reserved for the absolute elite runners, maybe your Lamar Jacksons, maybe your Jaden Daniels, and it about ends there. Justin Fields is now with the Jets, and this is a team that really invested for 2 years in him, knowing they don't have much of another option. You got Breece Hall, you got Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor at tight end, but this offense is going to be tailored to use Fields as a runner. Fields has shown he can give you top 5 quarterback fantasy production because of that rushing ability. Sure, pair another quarterback late in the draft. I'll talk about that later with him. But Justin Fields is also another one of those quarterbacks who has done it. 2 other quarterbacks to consider in this range of different levels of risk with each. Caleb Williams of the Bears. Look, last year, a lot of these rookies came into the league and they had good coaching situations. They had a good system around them. Caleb Williams had nothing. He had a horrible coach, a horrible offensive line, and poorly designed game plans. Caleb Williams, if you believed in his talent coming into the league last year, you need to reinvest in him this year. Ben Johnson's in to call the offense. That bad offensive line, the Bears fixed it through trades and free agency. There are weapons. Rome Odunze to go with the great DJ Moore. You even have Colson Loveland in the mix, maybe a little Luther Burden. The Bears are probably not going to be a high-volume rushing team. DeAndre Swift is okay, but he's certainly not going to be a game breaker as a runner. The Bears are going to have to throw the ball. Caleb Williams, you could buy back in this year. Remember, Williams ran for 480 yards last year. Finally, last one in this group, Brock Purdy. Yes, Brock Purdy was bad last year. His left tackle, Trent Williams, was injured, missed a ton of time. Christian McCaffrey missed most of the season. Brandon Ayuk missed half a season. Look, he didn't have much to work with, and he needs the talent around him. But the talent, Ayuk should be back. We have Kittle's fine. McCaffrey's back. Trent Williams is back. This defense keeps losing pieces year over year. They're going to need to score points, and Brock Purdy's in a good situation. So shop in this quarterback section. That is huge. If you want a backup for one of these quarterbacks to be safe, C.J. Stroud, quarterback 17, another quarterback who did it as a rookie 2 years ago. Last year, the league adjusted to Stroud. Guess what? Stroud gets to adjust back. Jordan Love, quarterback 20. Again, last year, threw a lot less in the second half of the season. That could flip. So now, you get these quarterbacks late. Let's talk about tight ends for a moment. Same deal. Yes, we love the top options. We love Brock Bowers. We love Trey McBride. But you're paying a third round price most likely for them. And you are going to miss out on other positions at that point. George Kittle doesn't get the targets, but a clear number 3. But if you go past that, there's nothing but question marks for a while. Sam Laporta, when that defense is humming like it did the first half of the year last year, he wasn't getting targets. TJ Hawkinson, the Vikings project to be a run team this year with the changes they made. Jefferson's going to hog up the pass targets. Travis Kelce, we saw his yards per target, yards after the catch drop precipitously as he ages. They may even rest him a bit. Evan Ingram, possibly, but he's over 30, coming off a major injury. Also, this could be another run team that plays defense. All these tight ends have questions. So what do I want you to do? Wait. Now, if you can't wait too late. Mark Andrews about tight end 8. His targets were down last year. It was in the 4.1 range. But again, big in the red zone. He's not repeating that 20% touchdown rate. Also, big plays because defense has got to play down to stop Henry and Lamar. So that's it. But wait even later. Jake Ferguson, tight end 14. 2 years ago at Dak Prescott, brilliant season. Last year, only 7 games with Prescott. Ferguson, 3 of those games over 70 yards. 4 of those 7 games over 11.9 PPR points. George Pickens is down. That only helps. That opens up the middle of the field. You got to wait even later. Hunter Henry, tight end 19. We saw in the second half of the season, he was averaging close to 50 yards a game. He played well with Drake May. That should continue. So now, by setting up this draft, you've waited on quarterback, you've waited on tight end. Now we move next. But the Circa Million and Circa Survivor are back with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Circa Million, you pick 5 games against the spread each week, 18 weeks of action with 126 ways to win. $1 million for the winner and $6 million overall guaranteed. The Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no point spread, lasts the longest to win it all. At least $15 million guaranteed. You enter in Nevada, you play from anywhere, 21 overall million guaranteed. You visit circasports.com for details. All right, you got your cheap quarterback, you got your tight end. What can you do now? Yes, you can load up on running backs and receivers. You want to build one of the best roster bases in your league. You're going to need depth for injuries and bye weeks because those positions, you're going to run into that. You don't want to have to take all these late round dart throws. Pray the waiver wire is good to you. Set yourself up for success because you have your quarterback and you have your tight end. You want to create a portfolio of safe and upside players. Get that safe Derrick Henry, who's going to have a super high floor every week. But then take your shots on more volatile players later in that mix of those 8 or so players you're getting early in your draft. Make sure there's plenty of safety and there's plenty of upside, but mix it together. You can play with that configuration to your liking, but you have that luxury because not every pick is desperation because you use your 3rd round pick on a quarterback and your 5th round pick on a tight end. You are no longer bound to that. Like I said, you could make those later round dart throws. Take a 13th round flyer on Nick Chubb, 15th round on Keaton Mitchell at running back. You could take some late wide receiver shots. Christian Kirk, 11th, 12th round. Cedric Tillman, same area of the draft. Super late, De'Ami Brown. These players, these are your dart throws, but you take them late. You don't have that same risk as you're taking the dart throws in rounds 8, 9, 10 in that area when you could, again, be getting your quarterback and your tight end there. This really sets you up for a wonderful fantasy season. It'll help you withstand some injuries, some bye weeks, and best of all, when you know you have those players in that group where you had those boom bust players and you get a couple of them, boom, they'll carry you to your fantasy football title. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to enter the Circa Million and Circa Survivor contest with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You go to circasports.com for details.